Welcome to Project Hardway. In this video, I'm polishing a turd. A big, bright green turd. Hello. If you're one of my current subscribers that came to the channel for this car, my big block 4-speed 1979 Chevy Camaro, don't worry. This car is not going anywhere. It's just the next step for this car is paint. And it's the middle of winter. Can't really do that in the cold. I mean, you could, but you get what you get when you do that. So, got plenty of other content to put out there on the channel. Check that stuff out, and Virginia's gonna be back soon enough. And if you're new to the channel, this is your first time here, go back and look at the videos where tear this engine apart, rebuild it, get this car running, get it to where you see it is now. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. This is my dad's 1994 Chevrolet S10. It's a base model LS extended cab. It's got the 2.2 liter overhead valve cam-in block 4-cylinder with a 5-speed transmission, 2-wheel drive. My parents bought this truck a long time ago for what I thought was way too much money at the time, about $2,200, but it has served its purpose, and let me tell you, this truck owes my parents nothing. Now the time has come. My dad's got too many vehicles. He doesn't have room for it at his house, so he's decided to part ways with it. Now it's got some issues we got to take care of. There's a harness down here in the engine compartment that's hanging loose. May go to a bad sensor. I don't know. Looks like it was broken by cats. I don't know. Some things have been in here where they ought not be. It also probably needs a starter. It's got a phantom drain on the electrical system that I've got to try and track down, and it leaks water into the cab when it rains. So the carpet is very wet. But first, let's take this thing outside and clean it up, because my parents live by the philosophy of the vehicle gets washed when it rains. No, it doesn't. All right, so first things first, this truck is filthy. It needs a bath. It's been sitting for a good long time. My parents are weird. They don't prioritize washing cars. In fact, my mom says, it gets washed when it rains. Wrong. So I'm gonna zip this toolbox off of here. I'm gonna get all this junk out of the bed, and then we're gonna break out the foam cannon and we're gonna spray this house down. All right, so here's my little rig. Got my power washer, the Craftsman with the Honda motor on it. My little foam cannon. I got that one for about $30 at Lowe's. Let me tell you, those foam cannons are great. They're aesthetically pleasing. They spray all that foam on there and it just sits all rich and nice and lathery. The problem is that when you got something like this, it's as dirty as this thing is, it's not just gonna do all the work for you. You gotta get it on there, and then you have to get your mitt, your sponge, your dirty shop rag off the floor, whatever it is, and you're gonna have to scrub that stuff off, especially in the case of something like this truck. Let me show you. This thing's got all sorts of pollen built up on it, all that gunk in the bed from where it never gets washed out, and from all that foliage that I just swept out of it. And then you got the good stuff up here, that black sap tar stuff that falls off the trees, and when it never gets washed, it looks terrible. Now you do see that the clear coat is coming off this truck. It is oxidized. You can see the line where it is and where it isn't. We'll address that once we get it all cleaned up. But let's go ahead and lather this old girl up and get her clean. Here we go.
It ain't got no gas in it.
All right, the truck is cleaner than it has been in a long time. Still not perfect. Of course, now you can really see the difference in the paint on the hood. And the same goes for the roof, where the clear coat's missing. Some shoddy paint work there, and, you know, typical stuff for an old truck. The main thing I gotta fix on it will be under the hood. Yep, it's a Chevy thing. Harness there, just hanging out. Had a piece of a sensor attached to it for some cats at my mom and dad's house that gotten up in the engine bay. So I gotta figure out which sensor that was and replace it. All right, so I tracked down that broken sensor to the coolant temperature sensor. I'm curious as to whether or not that caused a check engine light. With this being a 1994, it's an OBD1, I cannot check it with a regular scanner. So what I've found is that people say that with these 88 to 95 GMs, if you jump those two terminals on the plug with a wire, it should flash you a numerical code with the check engine light. Now, I've never actually done this, so I'm curious as to whether or not it works. A guy on the internet did it, so we'll see. So I've got the wire jumped, turn the ignition on, and it'll start to flash. You see it went 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So that's a diagnostic code. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Okay, so it did the 1, 1, 2 3 times. Then it did 1, 5 3 times, and now it's doing 1, 1, 2 3 times. So the 1, 1, 2 tells me that it is starting and that it's finishing the read, and the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 15 is my code. So I'll look that up, and I looked at it before. I believe code 15 is the coolant temperature sensor. So we get a new sensor, put it in, plug it in, and then disconnect the battery for a little while, let the ECU reset, and we should have the check engine light off again. All right, so quick recap. We gave the truck its first bath in a long time. Found the broken sensor in the engine. It's a coolant temperature sensor. Diagnosed the check engine light to confirm that that's what was causing the check engine light, but I still haven't figured out what's causing the water leak in the floorboard. Needs a starter too. Oh. Change of plans. So my dad, in his infinite indecisiveness, has decided now that he no longer wants to sell his truck. But, you know, that's okay. You know, he doesn't think he can let go of anything he's got. But this is my grandmother's 1997 Honda Accord. Unfortunately, recently my grandmother passed away, and God rest her soul. She didn't have anything to her name but this and about $1,200 in the bank. So I'm gonna give this car similar treatment to what that truck got, and turn around, sell it for my mom so she can put a little bit of money back in her pocket after taking care of everything after my grandmother passed. Let's take a closer look at the car. Okay, so here we have it, the 1997 Honda Accord in the, you can call it champagne color. You can see my grandmother parked it under a tree, and had the same philosophy my mom has of it gets washed when it rains. Wrong. It's hard to tell with how dirty it is, but the paint on this car is actually in really good shape. There's a couple of spots where it looks like the clear coat might be starting to oxidize, but nothing's coming off the car. There's no major dents in it. It's got a few little dings here and there. Really just needs a good bath. I think that's really the worst of the outside, but you know, she's 25 years old, give her a break. There's no badge for the trim level on the back. From what I can understand looking at it, it's a special edition car, which puts it almost at an EX trim level, but not quite. But that being said, it does have CD player. It's got the sunroof, cruise control. It's a non-ABS car, which is cool. It's got the vinyl headliner, so it's in really good shape. There's no holes, it's not sagging down, it's not torn up. The seats and the carpet, door panels, nothing in the car has got any major rips, tears, burns, major significant stains. I mean, this car is actually just really clean. It just needs a good little bit of interior detail to get some stuff off of it. Good bath on the outside. I say that's not the worst of it on the front of that bumper because the deck lid for some reason has got some damage here. I don't know yet, but if I can replace this panel by itself, I just might. But overall, this car is in really good shape. It does have a couple of little issues. It is the F22 non-VTEC motor. Just like any old Honda, it changes the oil on its own. So once I get it cleaned up, we're gonna get it into the shop because it's got, of course, the oil leaks that I need to track down. The motor mounts are shot on it and the speedometer doesn't work. I've actually already checked into that. It's causing the check engine light come on. The vehicle speed sensor isn't working, which could be the sensor itself or it could be the wiring harness to it. So once we get it in the shop, we'll take a look at that and determine what's actually causing that, and then I'll start ordering parts.
It ain't got no gas in it.
All right, and just as I expected, with just water, just power washing it, a lot of grime came off and the car cleaned up real well. Now the grime was hiding some stuff that you couldn't see, but I mean, still, for as old as this car is, I feel like it's in really good shape for a 25-year-old daily commuter car. It's got a jacked up weather stripping right here. I'm gonna have to take care of that because when I hit it with a washer right there, it started pouring water down the inside of the window. So maybe a little trick to the junkyard, or see if I can find something online, but that shouldn't be too big of an issue to take care of. Also, when my grandmother got this car, this window didn't work, and they had tape on the window and door frame and A-pillar to keep the window up and keep it sealed. She did get that fixed, but there's still a lot of residue. The power washer took a lot of it off, but there's still quite a bit. I didn't want to hold it on there too long, so I'm gonna get some goof off and see if I can get that stuff to wipe right off there. Hopefully it'll come nice and clean. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What happened?
Ain't got no gas in it.
You just switch goes the other way. Here we go. Okay, daylight has fleeted me, but I'm done washing the car. And of course it's still wet, so it looks real nice and shiny, and there's no sunlight, so we can't see the imperfections that were uncovered by getting all that crap off of it. But like I said earlier, for a 25-year-old car and what it is, a daily commuter mom car, it cleaned up pretty good. Now we'll go get it into the garage, start taking a look at the mechanical stuff. I love you, but you have to sleep outside tonight. Thanks for watching. Join me for the next video where we tear into that car mechanically. It needs new wheel bearings, I come to find out. And I tracked down every known possible oil leak you could think of on that thing. And it probably still leaks anyway. Until then, remember, sometimes you gotta do things the hard way.